sure look thirsty, mister. Why don't you try some of my free lemonade?
Free?
Yeah, it's free.
How do you make any money?
I'm a smart businessman.
That was refreshing. Thanks a lot.
$50.
$50 for what? You said it was free.
The cup.
$50 for the cup?
Yeah.
You have got to be kidding me. I'm not paying $50 for a cup. I even gave it back.
But now it has your germs on it.
I'm not paying $50 for that cup, buddy. I'm sorry. You should rethink your pricing scheme.
We got another free voter, boys.
You're gonna wish you bought a cup, buddy.
No. Oh, come on. Oh. Oh, my spleen.
Hello? We're open until 7. That's my bedtime. See you later.
Ow, my arm doesn't bend like that.
$50, please.
Just take the whole thing.
It's a pleasure doing business with you. See you later.
Guys, we got a special treat for you today. Charlie Sheen has agreed to take a little break from his fantastically successful tour to come and talk with Thomas and me. So, first of all, Charlie, thank you so much for agreeing to do this, man.
Sure.
Now, I don't know about you, Thomas, but I was honestly shocked to discover that Charlie Sheen is totally obsessed with Dash B Productions.
Passion, my passion.
Why do you love SV Productions so much?
I mean, what's not to love?
Are there other famous people out there that are famous?
Radical people like Sean Penn and Mel Gibson and Colin Farrell and just radical people.
Wow.
Do they have any advice for us? I mean, we're just starting out.
No,
there.
they didn't give me any advice, and within that, there's great advice. It was just love.
Amazing. That's just amazing. I'm flattered. Are you flattered?
Yes.
That's pretty cool that professional people like that think that much of our work. I even heard that you were at the theatrical premiere for Free Lemonade.
What did you think?
I don't know, man. I was banging 7-gram rocks and finishing them because that's how I roll.
What are 7-gram rocks?
Not now, buddy. So wait, you didn't actually even see our video then?
I don't remember.
Dude, how can you be such a fan, go to opening night, and not remember whether or not you saw any of our short? Does that make sense to you, Thomas?
No.
Did you borrow my brain for 5 seconds and just be like, dude, can't handle it, unplug this? Yeah, because it fires in a way that is, I don't know, maybe not from this particular terrestrial realm.
Right. Well, then how'd you become a fan? I mean, were you just using Facebook one day and...
I use a blender, I use a vacuum cleaner, I use, household items.
Have you ever actually seen any of our videos?
Probably more than anybody could survive, you know?
Wait, is that supposed to be a compliment?
It was epic. The run I was on made Sinatra, Flynn, Jagger, Richards, all of them just look like, droopy-eyed, armless children.
All right. I literally have no idea what that means.
Are you on drugs?
Thomas.
Yeah, I am on a drug. It's called Charlie Sheen. It's not available because if you try it once, you will die. Your face will melt off and your children will weep over your exploded body. Too much.
Yeah, just a bit, man. I think we're done.
I knew you weren't really a fan.
Really upset about how something was interpreted that I feel terrible about. So I think we should just clear the air on that. I'm sorry if I offended you. I didn't know you were so sensitive. Sorry if I offended you. I just thought, after you wailing on me, I could take a few shots back. I didn't know you were gonna take your little ball and go home and punish everybody in the process.
No, Charlie. Look, it's not like that. It's okay. All right, everything's okay. You okay?
Yeah.
I'm okay. All right. So everybody's okay. We'll just move on with the interview.
So you really are a fan of this,
Of course.
Then why can't you just come out and say it?
I get in trouble for being honest.
Well, not nearly as much trouble as when you go off on tangents and be all obscure.
Wow, what does that mean?
I don't know. I guess it just means the way that my mom raised me.
Oh my God, it's all my mom's fault. Shut up. Shut up. Stop. Move forward.
You're right, man. I'm sorry. Now I'm the one off on a tangent. Look, you must have heard about our 300 fan drive. We've been sitting at just under our target for like 3 weeks. As a fan yourself, how does that make you feel? I mean, were you angry or disappointed when 3 weeks went by and we still hadn't met our goal?
Yeah, I was actually disappointed.
How many fans do you personally think that we should have?
Tons. They're going to actually put it on a scale and be like, little more, little more. Ah, bingo.
Now, we've had some people comment that our whole father-son home videos meet fantasy thing is kind of jarring and awkward. What do you think?
Yeah. Do you think we should do more serious and realistic videos?
It's perfect. Yeah. No, it doesn't compare. They're whole different realities, you know. There's great things about both, but
You don't find the mixture of fantasy and reality jarring?
it's exciting. It's exciting. You know, people can put labels on it and they can figure all this stuff out. They can try to like normalize it, boring, stupid, you know, and that's fine. But for me, it's
I think I know what you're getting at. For me, I know that it's all about having fun. And I have the most fun when I'm filming things that just could not happen in real life. In my mind, just because it can't happen in real life doesn't mean it's not worth exploring on film, you know?
absolutely. Can't is the cancer of happen. Can't is the cancer of happen. I can't do it. The Nike slogan doesn't say, just try it. Oh, okay. Just try it. No, just do it, man.
So, if you had to describe Dash V Productions in one word,
Winning.
thanks again for being here with us, Charlie, and for being a fan, man. I'm a fan of your stuff myself. I know that your stuff, for me, never gets old. Do you think you'll ever get tired of our stuff?
No,
Wow, you say that with confidence.
because I'm not going to. Period. The end. I'm just finally going to completely embrace it, wrap both arms around it, and love it violently.
We are live right now. We should be live, my friends. So, I've got something here that I'm pretty excited about. I've got the Odriod Go Advance. And before we get too far into this, I am just going to really quick do a sound check on this to make sure that everything is working as I expect it is. So, open Twitch. I gotta sit through an ad. I hate ads.
When she was finding her voice, she didn't see limits. She saw possibilities.
Alright.
To be more than a singer, more than an icon. She saw that she could be an inspiration so that we could see possibilities too.
Alright, my friend, thank you very much for that. And I can hear. Cool. Awesome. We're good. We're golden. So, folks, I am going to just cheat that camera down a little bit more. Boom. And there we go, folks. We are ready to rock and roll here. I am Dash V, and I'm super excited about today's stream. It is Sunday, so you see me loaded up in my Sunday best, which is not as good as some, better than others, but not a competition. So this is my Sunday best. And today I'm going to be doing an unboxing of the Odriod Go Advance. I'm sure I'm not the first person to do an unboxing of this. Probably actually the last person to do an unboxing. Just haven't been able to get around to it. But you folks might remember, I'll put a little link down in the description. A couple of years ago, I did the 10th anniversary Odriod Go. This was really really, really awesome. This cost me, I think, about somewhere in the neighborhood of $60 to $80, and it took a little while for some of the firmware updates to kind of catch up with the promise of the device, but overall, I feel like this device has totally delivered. Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Gear, Atari, ColecoVision, even NES. NES was actually a tough one for this guy to pull off with, with the hardware limitations and stuff. But clever developers and hackers managed to do it. So, couple of things I wish it had. I wish it had a dedicated headphone jack. I wish it had an analog way to adjust the audio instead of digital. Lower volumes, you end up losing a little bit of sound fidelity and stuff. Really low volumes, you lose a lot of sound fidelity. But the battery life on this guy was charged about 4 months ago. And check this out. I don't know if you could tell, but the battery is still at 90%. So when you flip this thing off and you set it in a drawer or put it aside until you're going to go on travel or something next, it's not like most other devices where you turn them off, set them aside, and you come back 3 days later and they're dead. This will, in just being kind of shut off and set aside, the shelf life of the battery on this is incredible. It's very, very durable. And it's not shadow battery either. Like if you fire it up later, you'll get the full, several hours of play out of it. So really, really great. I wish the screen wasn't as scratchy on it. But in terms of Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Gear, 2600 and Coleco, this is great. This plays them faithfully enough. The control pad, I'm just using the stock D-pad and buttons. It was certainly good enough for me to play, Blaster Master or Tetris. So, Odriod Go Advance. I'm really looking forward to this guy. It's got a larger screen. Here's the screen right there. It's got a larger screen than the original, quite a bit larger actually. And it follows more of like a Game Gear-ish type layout. See if we can get that going. Set that aside. I don't know what happened with that. The plastic looks kind of mangled. I don't really know what happened there. Let's see what we got going on here. So this is the layout. So you got your D-pad, your buttons. There's also going to be, this is actually upside down, there's going to be shoulder buttons up at the top. Supposedly this can play Nintendo, Master System. It can also play, some folks are actually trying Nintendo 64, PlayStation, original PlayStation 1 titles on it, so that'll be kind of interesting. Supposed to do NES, absolutely no problem. So we'll see. I think this also does Super NES and Sega Genesis. So really, really stoked to see all this come together. I got the instructions over here, and I'm also Caliprico. Hey, how are you doing, my friend? Welcome to the chat. Good to see you. It's been a while since I've been streaming, but man, you jumped in with the quickness. I'm doing okay. I've got an Odriod Go that I've already assembled, and I'm putting together the Odriod Go Advance. So we will see. I'm either going to end up with another awesome, solid, but affordable handheld that's kind of a do-it-yourself project, or I'm going to end up with some broken pieces and a lot of swearing. So we'll see. Either way, it should be a fairly entertaining stream. So I'm just going to get all my kind of pieces, parts laid out. You'll notice Dash has been involved in lots of projects. You can see various different projects here in various different states of completion. You see I've got some film gear that I've been messing with. Today I decided to just go super simple with everything. But you'll also notice that I've been replacing some of the batteries on my classic NES and Super NES cartridges. So if you folks want to actually see that, see how to do a battery swap on your old cartridges, it's a good idea to do, because if you're still using the batteries that are like 20, 30 years old in the cartridge, chances are they've already started to decay and might be doing some damage to your cartridges. Best case scenario, maybe they're just not working anymore and you lost your saves. But I can show you with a soldering iron, a desoldering tool, and just a couple of batteries, I could show you how to breathe new life into those old save games. How you been doing, Calibrico? What have you been up to, my friend? What's going on with you? I hope that you're having a good weekend. Now, this is actually pretty cool. So, the battery on this, I really love the see-through ones. They have like black and white ones that you can get and everything. I like the see-through look. I think that's kind of neat. One of the things that you'll notice, the battery for this guy, the Advance, is significantly larger. It's a bit thinner, but it's definitely larger. Even with it being thinner, it's definitely wider. So, I don't know if that's going to mean more battery life. It may not actually, because the Odriod Go Advance is using a much more high-end processor, which is why it's able to do the higher-end graphics and stuff that are required by some of these other emulators. So right now I'm just getting all my pieces parts laid out. This is the thumbstick, nice. This is the speaker. This right here is the board. That's pretty nice. So here's where all the buttons are going to go. And then it's got USB, USB-C actually, that's pretty nice, USB-C. It does have a headphone jack, so they listen to feedback from the original. Original did not have this. So that's kind of cool. It also has an SD slot somewhere here. I believe it has an SD slot. That might be on another piece. I don't actually see the SD slot. Interesting. Almost dropped it. Well, we'll continue to look. I'm sure, I believe that it has one. I'll be surprised if it doesn't. We don't have all the pieces. This is a nice touch. I actually like this. So I did have some screwdrivers set aside just in case, but the kit actually comes with a screwdriver. Let me just take a look. And it's a nice hard metal, so this actually seems like a decent screwdriver. I'm probably going to keep this well after the assembly. I like that. I like when they give you the little bit of the tools that you need for the job. So here are the buttons. Now some people are popping buttons off of their original stuff and using those. I'm just going with the stock. I'm sure the other buttons are better, but these ones don't seem bad to me. Okay, so that's those ones. So we're just going to go ahead and undo these guys. These are the shoulder buttons, the L and R. Now what's interesting is doing PlayStation without L2 and R2. I don't know how well that's actually going to work out. Guess it would depend on the game. Okay. There we go. All right, so this piece you actually want to be careful with. The plastic is going to scratch super easy, so we're going to save that for later. In fact, I think there's actually an upgrade that you can get that puts actually like a more of a hardened glass on there that's more scratch resistant. Wolfie, how you doing, my friend? It's good to see you. I hope that you're doing well. I'm just sitting here. I'm assembling the Odriod Go Advance. Let's see if I can find the nice faceplate there. The Odriod Go Advance. This is like a do-it-yourself emulator box. It's a successor to this guy. So this is the Odriod Go, the original, and this is the Advance. This is supposed to be the improvement over the original. So these are all the actual These are the buttons. These are the overlays. These are what sit underneath the button. And what's really nice is they've made these in a very similar fashion to, if you pull apart the Nintendo controllers, like the original Nintendo controllers, a lot of things that you'll notice is in some of the newer knockoffs, what they did is they used actual buttons. So there's like little micro switches that when you push the button's actually depressing a micro switch. And while that certainly works, it's a lot more wear and tear on your hands. It takes more effort to depress the buttons, number one. And number two, there's a lag in there. There's a certain speed that you're not going to be able to achieve, which can be important in games like Tetris and things like that, high-speed games. But the way the Odriod Go works is a lot like the original Game Boys and Nintendos of times past. So I'm going to get up close to the camera so I can show you what I mean by this. Instead of using micro switches, what they use is they use contact plates. So here are the contact plates, and then there's a rubber pad that actually is somewhat flexible. And so what this does is when you're hitting the buttons, it feels a lot more, number one, there's less resistance, so you can push the buttons a lot better, a lot quicker. But then number two, there's actually less wear and tear. Like if you were to actually wear out these pads, you replace the pad, you're good to go. If you physically break the micro switch, you break the spring or something like that, or it gets jammed up, you're basically having to get a soldering iron and replace it. So now the replacement of the micro switch doesn't really happen all that often. So in that sense, it's not a big deal. For me, it's more of the being older, the hand fatigue from actually trying to play the game. And then I just don't like the clicky sound. I don't like the sound of clicky when I'm playing my games. So, Violet Wolf, how are you doing, man? Are you doing well? I hope that you're doing well. Violet Wolf has been doing, let me see if I can do a, oh, I think I gotta update your shout out. I think your shout out is under the old name still. Not a problem. You help out your friends streaming. Violet Wolf is an awesome guy, always helping folks out, always supporting folks. So go ahead and check him out, Violet Wolf Games on Twitch. Give him a follow if you're not already. And, you know, he's been playing some Beat Saber in VR, which is pretty awesome. He's really, really good at it. So I think also he'll play Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memories from time to time, and he's pretty good at that too. So give him a check out. All right, I've got all the pieces set aside. I don't need those pieces yet. So those pieces that can scratch easy, I got set aside. The screws, we're definitely going to set right over there so we don't lose them. All right, the very first thing that we want to do is they say fold the part of the yellow like in the picture. All right, and they're talking about with this screen here. Be very careful with this screen because it's not something that you want to have be destroyed. In fact, do I have something? Let me grab something very important here, because you can ruin this before you've even started it. I'm going to make sure to have some microfiber, because as you've noticed, I'm just working on a piece of plywood here, but I'm actually going to do all my work with the screen on top of a microfiber cloth. And what this is going to do is hopefully eliminate any scratches to the screen during initial install because of my workstation being very, very unkempt. I do want to make sure. There we go. Awesome. Nice, smooth workspace. Wow, Violet Wolf. My goodness, that was quick. You help out people with the quickness. Are you really the Flash? Shh, guys, don't tell. Don't tell Violet Wolf, but I think you may secretly be the Flash. All right. All right. So here is the screen. It's got a protective film on it, which I'm going to go ahead and leave on there. This says to fold the yellow tab, but my yellow tab is green. So I'm going to fold my green-yellow tab down. It's okay to set it face down because I'm doing it on the microfiber. Also, that green tab, there's a protective film on top of the LCD that's protecting it during the initial shipping and everything. So, which is nice because I do actually see some scratches in the protective film, but the screen underneath it should be totally fine. So they're just prepping us for when we're going to go and put this in. So close up of the LCD panel. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the faceplate here. We're going to set the faceplate face down. Okay, the buttons are facing toward me. And this is gonna fold up under, so I make sure that that tab is bent in. And then I push in there. And this should gently being very careful here, you have no idea. There's a little bit of a snap that it's supposed to do, and at the bottom it's not quite snapping, so I'm just using my thumb to try to push that part of the plastic over. I've heard online that you can break the LCD at this step if that bottom part doesn't snap, so I'm being very, very careful. Yeah, it is not, it does not want to go in there. Be careful not to damage the LCD. Yeah, no shit. But what I'm trying to do here, folks, I'll show you. So we got these plastic teeth here. You want to basically fold this down and then put that there. What that's going to let you do is when we're done, we should be able to grab and peel the screen away. But the problem that I'm having, the challenge that I'm having, and I'm going to take a look. Maybe I'm actually doing this upside down. I don't know. But those bottom three teeth that I pointed out to you are not participating well in the snappy. So it does look like maybe I'm putting in the screen upside down. So, all right, don't be a dumbass, Dash. Follow the instructions very carefully. If it doesn't work, you're probably doing it wrong. Like if you get to a point where you feel like you're having to force it, always double check the instructions. Like the reason that I was not able to get that bottom one to snap was because I was inserting it incorrectly. Oh, don't you dare. This is the most nerve-wracking part, I think. Once you get this part done, I think you're golden. But this part definitely will, because it's right in the middle. It's right in the middle that middle tooth won't bite, even with me trying to put it there. So let me just try to bend the frame a little bit, because I don't want to bend the LCD. This is definitely, there we go. I got it. What I had to do is I had to pull this out a little bit, like literally bend the plastic. The plastic is not going to flex a lot, but it flexed just enough to where I could get the, you don't want to bend or flex or put too much pressure on the LCD. Even with the protected plastic on it, you will end up cracking or damaging that. So if you're going to try to flex anything, you want to try to flex just a little bit the frame. And just to get that middle pin in there. So now, there we go. We're part way there. And we got the little tab where we can lift up. So now, what's the next stage? Man, they got like 8 close-ups of the panel, and 10, 11, 12, jeepers. They got like 12 close-up pictures of the LCD panel insertion. That's kind of a little bit excessive. All right, make sure that the yellow part of the yellow have to close out, blah, blah, blah. Carefully remove the LCD protective cover. All right, here's what I'm actually gonna do though. This is claiming right now to put on the plastic cover. I don't know if I want to do that just yet. I think I'm going to go ahead and wait on that one. Just because I'm going to be flipping it over, flipping it back, flipping it over, flipping it back. I don't know if I want to really risk it just yet. So I'm going to wait on that part. Assemble the analog joystick. Awesome. So it's got a D-pad, but then it's also got an analog stick. I really love that, actually, that it's got the little analog stick there. I think that that is so awesome. There's only one way that it can go. And let me just double check if all the screws that I have are supposed to be the same type. You show me all the parts. One, two, three, four, five, six, 2, 4, 6, 7. I got 7 screws in the packaging there. Here's the battery, the adhesive for the battery. Ah, here we go. I'm glad that I checked. There are two sets of screws here. There should be 8 of these. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There's like a bazillion of these, but I'm supposed to have 7 of these and 4 of the other ones. Yep, they gave me way more screws than I need, but that is okay. That's alright, that's fine. One by 7 by 5 and 1 by 7 by 8. These are the 1 by 7 by 8. These are the 1 by 7 by 5. So, let's see what I got going on here. Take it easy, Calibrico. Do I know much about music? What do you mean by much about music? In terms of making music, not really. Dashby, be dumb about making music. Actually, I'd be dumb about a lot of things. I know about musicians, and I know about generally making music, and I know a little bit about mixing music, like a very little bit about mixing music. But I don't know a lot about music theory. I don't know a lot about timing or anything like that. I just recently, as a way to kind of deal with my stress and things like that from time to time, I've just recently actually begun writing my own songs and singing them, but it's not for public consumption yet. I have 2 or 3 songs that I've written helping me deal with some stuff, and I've sung them and I have them recorded on my computer, but I haven't gone anywhere with them. As a music listener, yeah, I actually do. I wouldn't say that I know anything still, but yeah, I mean, I listen to music and I'm open to talking about music. You know what would be cool for me? Like if I was to co-host, I would have to be very open and say like, as a co-host, I don't know that I could add to like, you know, like to the technical, I guess, or the qualitative aspects of it. What I could definitely do is speak to things about like, you know, the beat, the energy of the music, if there are lyrics in the music, I could speak to the lyric of the music. Even if there isn't lyrics, I recognize things like there's this really excellent band called, so consider this, I guess, an audition. But there's this excellent band, Curious Quail, and the lead guitarist and lead singer of Curious Quail always kind of had it in his mind. He kind of had this idea for a story that could be either a book or an RPG. And one of the things that he did, because he's not a programmer though, is he made music. He made like, what if his idea was a game and it had a soundtrack, what would be the soundtrack to the game? And so he did some stuff using instrumentals, you know, guitar, bass guitar, violin, piano, things like that. Really, really epic. I mean, you listen to the music and the music is really, really amazing. Curious Quail is the name of the band, if I didn't say that already. But one of the other things that he does, though, is he uses a Game Boy. He's got a Game Boy with special modified hardware and software where he can actually hook the Game Boy, the original Game Boy, into his distortion pedal, and he can actually kick it in at different times, and he can have the Game Boy playing chiptune music that is specifically timed and synced to the actual live music that he plays. And what's amazing is on their albums, there are times that they'll be using real instruments like violin, piano, guitar, and then in another song you'll hear that same melody but as chiptune, and he kind of does it as like a callback, so it'll be a totally different song and everything, but then toward the end of the song you can kind of hear the song tailing out into what would be like the melody of the beginning of a song from earlier in the thing. So he might be playing the song of the villain, and then as the song ends, because the villain would have been defeated, it actually transitions into the song of the hero, which is kind of cool. So I can recognize and appreciate stuff like that. I can recognize, you know, melodic callbacks and things like that. I can recognize tone that's intended in the material and speak to that. But I can't tell you, like, you know, what kind of cymbal did they hit, you know, for the third, you know, beat or whatever. And I in fact, I just said cymbal, hit, beat. Like, I don't even know if any of those are even the right terms for what I used. So as I get into the technical, I'm gonna fall apart spectacularly. But it'd be awesome as a co-host to be able to just speak to what I hear as a listener, and as somebody like consuming the story being told by the music. But then to actually talk to somebody like you that like really actually knows how to produce music and knows, you know, how to like create that musical experience from scratch, and maybe actually get some education into, hey, you know, Dash, in order to pull that off, it required XYZ. Like, just to learn more about it through talking about it would be awesome. Know little about the facts yourself. That's okay. You probably know more than you're letting on. Maybe it's self-taught. I don't know if it's self-taught or if you've taken courses in music production and stuff like that. But still, I've heard your music, my friend. Do not undersell yourself. You are incredibly talented. All right, so I'm gonna have 1.7 by 5 and 1.7 by 8. These are 1.7 by 5s. So when we put the thumb pad in, 1.7.5, that's what I guessed. That is what I believed would happen. Oh, by the way, I think you might have seen on the Twitters there, Violet. Do you mind if I just call you Violet? Or do you want me to call you Wolfie? Or do you want me to call you Violet Wolfie Games? Whatever you would like, my friend, I can call you. But I got that Ninja Turtles pinball game, which you probably saw. I did a stream, a small stream a couple days ago, adding some mods to it, which was pretty fun. I also did a stream. I did a recorded video about. Oh, that was with my monsters, but I'm getting so the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game has a shooter rod that it's actually like Leonardo's katana, like the handle to one of his katanas. Looks so badass. So I'm gonna do that's something to look forward to. I'm gonna do a video of me installing the Leonardo katana blade shooter rod into my TMNT pinball, and I just gotta say, in general, it was obvious I just wasn't feeling any love for the Stranger Things pinball machine that I bought. That was just like a big pile of fail for me and my family. But I gotta say, I traded Stranger Things for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This guy down in like 3 hours away from me was he owns a barcade and he had a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Wasn't getting a lot of plays in the bar because I guess the adults were all like, it's a kid's game, blah blah blah. Dude, like, those people don't know what the hell they were missing. This Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles pinball game is currently actually my favorite pinball game of all time. It knocked out Attack from Mars. Like, it flows, it's fast, it's an excellent table, and the theming on it was just perfect. They went with the old school, like, Saturday morning cartoon version of the Ninja Turtles, which was just great. So they redid the music, but they redid the music very, very well, very, very tastefully. The cover is not exactly the original, but it's pretty fucking close. And the ways in which they changed it, I think, made it better. At first I was like, why didn't they use the original music, blah, 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 and I was being kind of nostalgic, right? But as I'm playing the game, there's different modes that you activate where, like, some of the modes actually have callbacks to, look at that, I'm using the callback thing. Some of the modes, the music actually has callbacks to the TMNT arcade games. So when you're, like, fighting the bosses, like Bebop and Rocksteady, there's a couple of things in the melody that are straight out of, like, the TMNT arcade game. So you could only have done that if they covered the original music, because the original music was what it was, and then the arcade was what it was. But because Stern had their own cover done, they're able to just seamlessly blend the covered version of the theme with the other variants of music that they introduced for the different modes, and then they were able to pull in things from, like, the arcade and all that other stuff. So overall, the total package, like, the music is just astounding. The pin is a beautiful pin. I'm getting off topic, but I got a lot of crap from my family for getting Stranger Things because none of us liked the table. It just wasn't for us. It didn't really flow right. It was super technical and hard as piss. We just didn't really enjoy it. This TMNT pin, we all hands down love it. Attack from Mars has always been my favorite. It's still always going to have a good place in my heart. I still enjoy Attack from Mars, but TMNT just blew it away. So look forward to seeing some more stuff with that later, because I'm going to town on that pin. All right. So what do we got going on here? So we put in the analog joystick. Next, we're going to put in the D-pad. And it's got a notch in the top, so there's only one way that you can set the D-pad in there. I really like that. They kind of make this Dash V proof. Now this next part's a little tricky. You got to get this right. I wish that they'd actually labeled it somehow in the plastic, but they didn't. It's okay. But even then, they've kind of, the plastic prongs are unique for each one of these buttons. So even if you're not really paying attention here, you kind of have to try to screw it up. The buttons are going to go in. They're going to go in roughly the correct order. There's only really one way that you can put these buttons in. I really love the way that Odriod does these kits. This is my second kit, but, it's... I I just love how they do this. I kind of like glanced at the instructions, but already, so the buttons are in. I know they're correct buttons and everything because of the nice little thing that they show there for it. So now I have to put in the on-off switch. All right, where does this go? The on-off switch goes. Ooh, that's a different one than what I thought. It's right there. Really? Are you showing me how to assemble the same thing? I think that is... Nope. Okay, it goes in the first one. This one's a little bit tricky, actually. You kind of have to be really paying attention to what you're doing on that one. Okay, so that one's gonna go there. Now these folks go here. Putting down the pads. Oh, my friend. You know what? I've been debating, my friend. Like, I'm not really I don't emote it maybe as directly and openly. But social media has been really grinding on me. I have to admit, like, people are just getting, I don't know if it's been the lockdown and all that other stuff or just the general life stuff finally catching up, but like en masse, people are just getting very, very tiresome to deal with in general. I've been wanting to take a break, actually. Like, part of me's like, oh, hey, I'm gonna stream, yay, and then part of me's like, why am I gonna stream? Like, why am I gonna... So, I get it, though. Beat Saber looks like an excellent way to blow off steam. Beat Saber definitely look... That's why I've been wailing away on my pinball. TMNT came at exact the right time. Alright, these buttons go here. These buttons go here. Come on. Are you not? This one doesn't want to go in there. There we go. Okay. Cool. Cool. So all those guys are there. We're looking good. Speaker assembly. This is kind of a cheap little speaker. The other one was a cheap little speaker too. Honestly, it doesn't bug me. The sound seemed like it was decent enough. Alright, now we're going to actually put the PCB board on there. So that's this piece right here. And so this one's going to be a little tricky in that there's a couple things that are going to come in to the picture. And I'm wondering if I need to put these in first. So L is going to be with the D-pad. R is going to be with the buttons. Troll season. Oh, that's a thing? Twice a year, every year? The start of summer and late autumn. I did not know that. I didn't know that there was a... you're saying statistically that's when most of these folks come out? Is it because... What causes it, Wolfie? What do you think? Is it because... Is it like school is out or something like that? Is it... why do you think that it's around this time that these people just come out and give us grief? Where do these buttons go? What are these buttons? What the hell are these? I want to make sure I didn't miss a step. Are these L? I don't know what these are. I want to make sure. I'm going ahead a little bit because I've got leftover parts. You should not have leftover parts, even though we're almost there. Battery, it's fine. Now they put in the trigger buttons. Now, this is interesting. These go to something. These definitely... Oh, these are R2 and L2. Yeah, okay. So, R2 and L2, This is going to come down like that. That's the power. Dash has got to take a closer look, folks. Where do those other buttons go? Oh. What? Let's see. Find on page. R2. There's no matches, really. Let me see. Capital R2. Search. No matches. Oh, you're kidding me. Nope. They don't actually show on this R1 and R2. But I have them right here. They're right here. They definitely exist. How are you gonna play me like that? I have a more advanced Yun XNG. Hey, how's it going? Are you, my friend, are you on Oh, you know what I'm noticing? Wolfie, do I not have the chat showing up in the stream? I think I don't have the chat showing up. I might have to turn the chat module back on. I see you're referring to somebody in the chat that I cannot see. They must be on YouTube's. Alright, let me see here. I'm going to have to go to a different set of instructions, I think, because this set of instructions is not complete. I have an R2 and L2 button, but this build does not show. Yeah, it doesn't even show the cutouts for it. So what I'm going to do, this actually came with a barcode to the instruction guide. I used just an instruction guide that I Googled, and it was fine for me to get that far, but it's clear that I'm missing something. So let's see what happens if I go to the actual hard kernel instruction guide. I like that, by the way. They give you a little bit of a, they actually have two. Here's the, oops. They have an assembly guide, and then they have a installation guide. Although this isn't cool. I don't like that this is a, don't give me a video. I'm making a video. Don't make me watch a video. There you go. I'm going to their wiki. There we go. This one's actually showing, yes, okay, cool. This is showing the extra buttons. Wow, that's amazing. So, okay. So this is interesting. I must have a newer revision of this because they show a black version of it with the extra buttons, and the clear version does not show the extra buttons. So I actually have a version that, according to their documentation, does not exist. Revision 1.1. Yes. Revision 1. Ah, that's what it is. So the instructions I was following must have been revision 1 instructions. There's a 1.1 where they added additional buttons. And this answers my earlier question. Remember when I said before about how are people playing PlayStation 1 on this when they're missing L2 and R2? Because when I ordered it, I don't think it came with L2, R2, but I must have been lucky enough to get into the second batch. Now I just have to figure out how those buttons actually get installed. We will figure this out, my friends. We'll figure it out. All right. Building with Odriod Advanced Kit. Revision 1.1. Don't give me any, I don't want any videos. I did the analog joystick already. We put in those buttons. I put in the on-off switch. Ah, here we go. Revision 1.1. I still have no idea what the hell they want me to do. Do I just put this in there like that? Is that what I do? How do I... Oh, that's R2. Oh no, yeah, R2 would go this way, L2 would go the other way. So how do you... So here's R2. Here's L2, I guess. Oh, I get it. There's a very little groove in there. You have to put that in there. I would suggest doing that before you go. Does this one also have the little groove? Uh-oh. That's not cool. It's stuck. You know what? It looks to me like that one's in there perfect and it's stuck in there, so I'm not taking it out. Alright, cool. So those are all those buttons. And now there's another switch here that goes somewhere. We have to figure out where this additional switch goes. Speakers in. PCB board. Alright, so I guess they want me to put PCB board is going to go down this way. And I believe that these ribbons are just supposed to come up through like that. I'm just going to make sure before I put that on there permanent that all my rubber pads are exposed. I would recommend dusting off the bottoms of these rubber pads just to make sure there's not any debris that's going to affect the contactness of it. I was kind of expecting this to have a dip switch board inside. You know what? Like, I know what you mean, like the arcade boards and everything. Everything seems to have dip switches, but this one doesn't actually. There's not a single dip switch. You know what else I miss, Wolfie? You might remember these, or maybe I'm dating myself. Remember when you couldn't install, like, every board had jumpers. Like, it was never you could just install the board and be done. Like, you had to always read the manual because it wasn't on the internet. You just had to read the manual and hope to God that the manual mentioned, like, what all the jumpers did, or it was trial and error. Remember that? And then if you ran out of jumpers, right, over time, it wasn't a big deal when the board was brand new, but maybe later on, like when you go to, like, add a new processor or put some more RAM in or something, like, you'd find out, like, oh, you can't use this processor unless you set some jumper. And you're like, well, shit, like, I don't have just a bag of jumpers lying around. Actually, nowadays, Adult-V has literally a bag of jumpers just, like, lying around. But before that, I didn't have. So it was always like, I'm going through this drawer of parts to find other boards that had jumpers, and I'm stealing the jumpers off of those, which just made a problem for me later when I wanted to do something with that particular piece of hardware, because being like, oh, I have to set the jumpers, and then I have to go grab the jumpers off of something else. It was like a big thing. Wiping that off of my pants was probably not the smartest move. Just trying to make sure I don't have anything in there that's going to get in the way of the conductivity between the pads and the plates. So now we're going to put this in there, line it up, make sure, we got to be careful that we're going to run the ribbons through. You want to be really careful with these ribbons right here. You want to be really careful not to pinch those or damage those. That'll give you a bad day. Alright, so there we go. So now all of that. Thought we was building a new Atari. Actually, if it's like this guy plays Atari 2600 and ColecoVision games. It also plays 7800 games. So 7800, 5200, and 2600 in ColecoVision. So I know that you're being a silly violet, but you know what? It is okay, my friend, because you were unwittingly correct. And see, that to me is the best kind of correct, is when you're just kind of like joking around, and then you're like, actually, it can do the thing that you're joking about. And you're like, dude, really? It's kind of like a happy bonus, right? Because it's not like you expected it and then it didn't work or something, or you expect it and it kind of works. It's like, you're not expecting it. So then when you find out about it, you're like, just like you just said, cool! I don't know about you, but sometimes when I joke about something, it's because I secretly want it to be true. So I'm like, oh yeah, and it even plays Atari. It's like, well, part of me secretly wants it to also be able to play Atari. Maybe that's just me, though. Maybe that's just me. This next one's going to be fucking interesting. You'll find out why I'm swearing in a second. I'm really not sure how this next part's going to go. I'm supposed to take a ribbon and flip it upside down and bring it back and work it around. I don't have fingers small enough to hold that, which means I'm going to have to use a tool to do it. I'm kind of nervous. I'm going to wait to put that screw in because that's going to make it more difficult for me. Let's see. A screw there, boom. A screw there, boom. But oh, shit. Touch screen. Damn it. doot, and doot. But that's going to be a pain in my ass. So first, I'm going to plug in my stuff. Plug in the speaker into the board. Boom, that was fairly straightforward. Cool. My LNRs. Uh-oh. What the fuck? There we go. Alright, so you are not. There we go. You want to be careful when you're dealing with plastic. You want to make sure that it's appropriately tight, but you don't want to over tighten because you will warp. You'll stress the plastic and break it, and then you're not going to have the durability that you want. So it's like a happy medium. Sometimes you'll have to lift it up, but just make sure that things are appropriately you can test out with the buttons. If you got it right, the buttons should sit on top of a... It does for the L and the R use micro switches, which, you know what I mean? That's, for the L and R buttons, that's fine. Like, I'm not really... The thumbs are the most important things. Reaper, how you doing, man? Welcome to the stream. How you been? How's your weekend? We're putting together, I'm here with Violet Wolfie, and we're putting together the Odriod Go Advance, which is like an updated version of the Odriod Go. It's about I think this one was $60, but it's discontinued. This one is $80, but it does more than... This one does all the way up to Nintendo Entertainment System. So anything that's basically two buttons. Two buttons or one button. Atari, ColecoVision, I think it does Master System, but Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Gear for sure. Nintendo plays them pretty well. Battery life is excellent. This one is supposed to do all the way up to Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, PlayStation 1, and even supposedly some N64, but the N64 stuff is still in development. N64 kind of pushes the limits of what this thing can really do. So I'm not really counting on the N64, but PlayStation 1 and Super Nintendo, I am super excited about. You've had a good weekend? Excellent, excellent. What have you been up to? What do you do on the weekends? You just check out, chill and check out people's streams, or do you stream? Are you a streamer? If you want, feel free to share your info with the chat. I know some people don't like that, but you know what? Just go ahead and share, promote. That's fine. Just don't set up a bot to do it like every 20 minutes. All right, there we go. Don't break it. Come on. Boom. All right, awesome. Cool. So that ribbon is intact. So I got the big main ribbon in the board. This next one is going to be a trick. I'm actually going to show you guys up close because there's no way you can appreciate just what a pain in the balls this is going to be unless I show you. So the way that we did it, all right, can you see that? So we put the board in, we put all the buttons in, right? We got the buttons in place. We got the screen in place. We'll take off the protective film when we're done. But we got all the buttons there, B, A, X, Y, right? Got the D-pad. The D-pad actually doesn't feel bad. I don't like that the The edges are a bit sharp, which means if you do long gameplay sessions, you could actually end up tearing up your thumb a bit. So at some point I'll either sand those down, or I might actually do what some people have done, which is replace these with Game Boy Pocket buttons and D-pad. But I like this analog stick. That's kind of cool. We're going to have L and R, and then we got R1, R2 buttons there. So that's pretty cool. Here's the thing though, that's going to be a pain in the ass. The ribbon comes up through from the screen and goes into here easy enough. You pop it in there and then you lock this piece in place. This next one has to go in there, but it doesn't come in from this direction. It actually comes in from the opposite direction. I'm talking about this right here. So these are very, very small plastic things, and I'm literally going to have to bring this guy over. I'm going to have to bring him over and flip him around and upside down to plug him into that. There's no way I'm going to do that with my fat fingers. So I'm going to have to use like needle nose or something, but be careful not to rip that ribbon. This part's going to be a little bit surgical, my friends. We'll see if Dash V is up to it. I almost want to get, I want to see, I can attempt it with these, but I almost think these might be a bit too awkward as well. I'm wondering if I've got, there we go, there's Reaper, folks. Check him out. I'm actually going to, no, that's all right, Reaper. In fact, I'm going to give a click. Going to check this out right now. Oh, it doesn't let me do it in the Stream Manager. I don't want to ban him. User actions. View info. There we go. And I'm going to give you a follow. There we go. My fingers are anorexic. Yeah, you know, so I've been doing mixed martial arts. In my mind, there's a whole big giant story, but I'm gonna cut it down because I'm sure people aren't interested in the whole big long story. But anyway, I used to live in California. I now live in North Carolina. My son is a black belt in Taekwondo, and he studied at a particular studio in California. Because of coronavirus, that studio actually shut down, and a lot of the instructors and everything were out of work. One of the instructors actually set up his own mixed martial arts virtual studio over Zoom and started offering lessons, which was amazing because when we left California, we just kind of accepted the fact that, you know, if my son wanted to get into martial arts or whatever, we were going to have to find another studio or whatnot. So this particular instructor reached out to me on LinkedIn and said, hey, you know, I'm not trying to like cold call or anything like that, but I want to let you know I launched a virtual studio. If, you know, your son would like to get back involved, you know, I'd be more than happy to, you know, I'm doing introductory, you know, pricing for lessons and all that other stuff. So, dude, like, I jumped at the chance. I said, not only does my son want to do it, but I want to get into it as well. Like, if I could do it in my basement, absolutely, I'll show up every Friday. And so for the last like 3 months, we've been doing, my son and I, mixed martial arts, which is like super cool. Actually, let me see if I can fire this up. Oh, you know what? It's not gonna work because I'm not in front of the green screen. I'll share with you guys a little later. Basically what I did was I had the green screen behind us, and so I made the background be the Mortal Kombat level where Shang Tsung is sitting on the throne, like watching you play, and he'll like clap periodically, and they got like all the other people in the audience like looking. It's from Mortal Kombat 1. And so when my son and I do all of our mixed martial arts and stuff, and we're doing all the combos, it's like him on the right side, me on the left side, and we're doing like all of our like, you know, let me see if I can, does my head get cut off a little bit? I think my head gets cut off a little bit. I'll show you guys a little bit of the moves. So imagine this, right, that looks good, right? So imagine Mortal Kombat background here, right? And we're doing the whole thing. And it's like, right? And he's facing me and I'm facing him, and then there's kicks and stuff involved too, which I can't do because the table's in the way. But we're doing all the moves and everything, and especially when you do like the jump kick like thing, which I can't. I'll do it some other time when I'm in a better position for it. I'll hurt myself or make a mess here. But I never imagined that we would be able to. I never imagined we'd be able to do mixed martial arts again. Never imagined that I'd be able to use the same instructor, that I'd be able to get trained by the same instructor that trained my son over 6 years into a black belt. Never imagined in a million years I could do it in my home in front of a Mortal Kombat background. Like, it's just ridiculous when you think about it, but super fun. Super fun. So... You know what, Automod, come on, man. What was, Wolfie, what was the message that it... Why are you getting timed out, Violet? Like, what? I apologize for the Automod. Wolfie, we're good. You're good. I'm going to put the Automod in its place. I do have a... Where did you see that? Jurassic Park. I do have Jurassic Park. Yes, for the NES. It's actually a pretty good game. So, and it's in a beatbox case. This is from, you can get these at Stone Age Gamer. Very nice cases. They've got like a little pouch there that you can put your owner's manual in there and everything. The game sits in a nice little pocket and stuff like that. I love these cases. These are really good cases. Obviously, I love them. I bought everything that you see here. This isn't like... I do this because of aesthetics. I'm not trying to do product placement or necessarily sell their product, but it is a solid product. I bought a case for every single one of my NES games, which is good and bad because now if I just like end up with a loose copy of like some game I don't already have, I'm like, shit. Because you get a cheaper discount if you buy them in bulk. So I did buy a couple extra, but I couldn't buy extra. You get a discount for buying the labels in bulk too. So to have to buy the labels one or two at a time, it's a bit more expensive. So it's kind of like I don't want any more games because I don't want to have to buy the labels and the boxes for them. But if I do get a game, I have to buy the label in the box because they're so good. It's gamer problems. Am I right? Alright, so putting these buttons, the L and R, back in there. And it's this guy. I've been delaying is what I've been doing, folks, because I'm dreading plugging in that little... Set these aside for now. I'm dreading plugging in that little ribbon there. Let me see, what are they saying? Caution, never raise the connector more than 90 degrees, otherwise it will break. Thank you for that. I wasn't nervous enough about breaking the damn thing already. Alright. Now what? How do I plug that in? Oh, you know what? I'm glad I did look. Here's what's really weird. I'm glad I looked at these instructions. Folks, check it out. This is a little misleading. I'm going to tell Odriod about this. Here's why I was confused, right? Notice in this one, you've got tan color, socket, black color, connector. So what it is this black piece flips out just a bit. You slide the ribbon in, and then you push the black piece down and push it in, and it locks the whole ribbon assembly and everything in place, right? So over here, what do we got? We got tan and black. So which do you think is the part that you need to pull and move around? The black part, right? No, 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 no. It's actually the tan part on this one. According to the pictures, it's the tan part. This part lifts out. So that's confusing AF to me. But it is nice because it means that we don't have to get as surgical with this. I was thinking I was going to have to flip this around and plug it into the back. It looks like I can just plug it into the front. But this little plastic piece I'm going to have to be very delicate with. And I'm going to have to be very careful with inserting this piece in there. You have Jurassic Park Operation Genesis for the PS2. Nice. Is it good? Do you like it? I've got Jurassic Park for the NES. I've also got it for the Game Gear, I believe. And I have it for the Sega Genesis, where you can play as like the Raptor. All those are pretty decent. I haven't played it on PS2 though. Is that a good game? You like that game? Would you recommend other people check that out? Mmm. It's your favorite game. Cool. What about it makes it your favorite? Is there a particular thing about it that makes it your favorite? Now this is super interesting. Like it almost. Like this is weird, folks. Like maybe this doesn't pull out at all. Here's what stinks, not knowing like what that's gonna be. Give me a moment. I'm gonna actually try to see if I can find another, because they're not really giving me. I mean, they give me pictures, but it does lift up. That black thing lifts up somehow. Oh, okay. So the this is confusing as hell. The black thing lifts up backwards. I'm having to look at the pictures because they're not describing the process. They're just showing the pictures. So then you grab that mofo. Okay. Okay. It lifts up from back, but you still plug it in this way. This is really confusing. Wow. And this is way too big for this. I should not be using a tool that big. That's what she said. Wow, this is going to be very... Taking my hat off. I'm going to sweat on this one. Try to do it with my... Try to use my fingers. Don't go in there at an angle. Straight on, yes. Come on. How far is it supposed to go in? Whew, guys, I'm telling you. All right, I'm going to, the only things I have that are that small are razor blades, and I don't want razor blades anywhere near this. Let me see if I can get it in there with a screwdriver. There's little tabs on the side that I'm gently trying to push at, but I have to be careful not to ruin the show me how much of the tab is supposed to be there. Is the whole tab supposed to go in there? And you change the angle. Your thumb is in the way, my friend. Why? Why you do that to me? Not really happy about that, but it looks like that's as far as that goes. All right. So folks, I'm going to show you what that looks like finished. That was really precise. I'm sure that was boring as hell to watch, but that was pretty tense. So here's what we're looking at. This black piece flips back this way. Then you insert that ribbon into the back and you push the black piece down. That's a very fine piece of plastic, so it's going to break really easy. Also, you can see these tabs don't quite go all the way up to the bottom of that, and I'm hoping that that's okay. I'm hoping that I got enough. Not sure if you folks can really see that, but I'm hoping I got enough of that ribbon on the connector to where it's going to do what it's supposed to do. My goodness. Fine, yeah, fine tweezers, Violet, because here's the problem. The problem is that ribbon is so tight, you don't really have any room for anything underneath it. So it's literally the only things I have that are that fine are razor blades, which you don't want anywhere near a ribbon like that because you're just going to easily destroy it. So we'll see. That will. It's not a hard thing to get to. So worst case, if I have to take the back off and get back in there, it's not the end of the world, but I would prefer not to have to come back into this once it's assembled. All right, stick the dual-sided tape onto the battery. I just like saying battery. All right, so I don't think I'm going to do that. Hoping to get this done before church. There we go. So now what's interesting is that the way that they show this going on here is different than the way that it actually, maybe not. Flip this guy upside down. Okay, cool. Now, yep, we're looking at it the correct way. So they actually want this to be, oh, okay, I see. It's going to go into that little pocket. You know what? I'm not going to put the adhesive on there just because it's going to make it a pain to get this off later if I need to. I'll see if it's an issue. If it's getting in the way of stuff, I'll do something with it, but if not, I'm just going to leave it be. So the battery goes in. Assemble the L and R triggers. Oh, we're at the home stretch, my friends. Right goes on the left. Left goes on the right because we're upside down and backwards. All right, assemble the back enclosure. No, that's not assemble the back enclosure, you son of a gun. Because what? I have an extra piece. Where do extra piece go? Wow, really? That's hilarious. It's literally just an extra piece. Like there's nothing. Is it version 1.1? I'm not used to having extra pieces. I put my hat back on now that I'm not going to sweat. Reduce the glare. They literally hide this. Like in their version of the picture of that plastic thing that I had, they hide the existence of this switch at all. So it must just be that they made it, they maybe thought they were going to need it, and then didn't actually need it. Alright, so close the back and enclosure. You know what? I changed my mind. I will put the 3M sticky tape on there. Just because otherwise this is going to rattle around in the case. So I watched the Christopher Nolan Batman movies again. For me, it was again. For my son, it was the first time. He'd seen Batman Begins, but he'd never seen The Dark Knight, and he'd never seen The Dark Knight Rises, so we rectified that problem. Pretty good. They hold up pretty well. I still feel like number 3, story-wise, took like a dip in the quality. I felt like he tried to do too much and kind of get overcomplicated with it. But overall, they still, the visual effects definitely held up. Everything with it was really good quality. So, and Christian Bale is amazing. He is Batman. Him and Michael Keaton are Batman as far as I'm concerned. Always and forever. But yeah, surprised at how well, sometimes things seem like epic in your mind and then you watch it and it doesn't really hold up. These totally held up. Anybody have a favorite Batman that it's okay if you don't agree with me, but what's your favorite Batman? This one's difficult because I got to get the back on here, but these buttons are very particular. There we go. You got to make sure to get those L and R buttons in there first, and then the rest of it will be quite a bit easier. Now the next problem is going to be this
Time to finish up, Dad.
speaker wire. I'm finishing up, my friend.
I thought we were going to do that.
I got tired of waiting for you to be ready to do it.
I was waiting on you.
That's okay. We're not going to argue about it on stream. But I'm done, my friend. Alright, so and you know what, guys? I might have found. No, it's too big. There's a big giant hole here in the side. I don't know what that's about. That's interesting. All right, and there we go. That's the Odriod. Make sure all the buttons pass the button press test. Make sure that they're actually making contact with a micro switch before I put the back screws in place. Press a hook with your finger until it makes a snap sound. Press the hook as shown in the finger. The boy is upstairs now complaining that I did the assembly without him. I wanted to do this for months, and I've been competing with Minecraft and other things, so finally I just said the hell that I'm going to do it, and now he's upset that I did it. I did want to do it as a father-son project, don't get me wrong, but I waited 6 months. How much longer do I need to wait, my friends? Alright, so that is good. We're going to take the plastic off finally. Cool. And we're going to take this also off. And then we'll be done, and it'll be the end of our stream, my friends. Almost there, Mrs. Dash. Last step.
I need to be able to charge the iPad so they can use it.
I know, my love. Boom. Wow, is that still... I don't understand what just happened. That's not the adhesive part? That wasn't the adhesive part somehow, folks. I don't know what's going on. Give me a second. Remove the dual-sided tape. Okay. 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 From the rim and inner square. I did that. You know what? That's hilarious. So the 3M stuff that I just removed, that sucks. It didn't just remove the 3M, it removed all the sticky stuff from the back of the LCD. So now I have no way to attach the LCD. That's a fail. Because I don't know that I can put this back on quite in the way that it came off. That's a real... That's not optimal. Yeah. Okay. I didn't expect that to happen. Well, folks, when you go to take the sticky adhesive off the back of the screen, Be extra careful because you can actually remove even the adhesive itself. So that's it for today. I have to go do some other stuff. So it looks like I got all the way to the end, but I will not be able to finish this, unfortunately. I'm going to have to contact Odriod and see if I can get... I think there's a glass screen for this anyway. I think I'm going to order that glass instead of this plastic. I will finish this when that arrives, I guess. In the meantime, I'm going to keep this someplace where the screen cannot get damaged, and where I can not get any dust or anything on it. So thanks for checking out the stream. Be careful when you go to install these not to remove the 3M double-sided tape. It came off super easy. I did not realize, and it's a very fine tape, so I did not realize that I was actually pulling off the tape with the 3M as well. I might try to get it back on there, but I'm not really holding out too much hope. I think I just need to get a new replacement screen. So, alright. Thank you very much, and folks, I hope that you have a happy Sunday. Right. You do that. And you guys, come on. If Charlie Sheen can do the right thing, so can you. Become a fan of Dash B Productions on Facebook.
Can I see your Sun Green Block collection? Are we rolling?